Remember to press live. There we go. On here, just popping on. I'm just popping on. I was watching. She's a gypsy uh, in Ireland, an Irish gypsy. Good morning. And she always says the word bougie, and she gets her eyebrows tattooed and stuff. Just an adorable little thing. Um, but you know, talking about the gypsy lifestyle and living as a gypsy and stuff. So, and being bougie, and she gets her nails done and everything else. It's she's quite cute. I love watching her. She's very entertaining and just giving a different perspective of life and the world around us. So, good morning, Lexi. Good morning, Charlene. Good morning, everybody who joins me and who watches the replay. So, I just wanted to come in briefly because I feel like we're in like as I posted, I said, the calm before the storm, or are we in the storm and we're just surfing it? Basically that's what we're doing. We're just surfing the storm as it's playing out before us. And I find that, oops, there we go. I got to get this up. Very interesting how it's playing out. The world's playing out for us. I mean, there's so many different scenarios, so much craziness that's happening on there. Um, I'm not going to say we if you haven't seen the opening games or any of the highlights about people talking about the opening games for the ceremonies for the Olympics, you can go look at that because there's a lot on that. And as I said to people before, that it was a spell being cast with it. And you watch it and you're just like, holy shit. Yeah. Okay. I can see that. And that's part of it. That's part of the storm. And there's a lot on there. But what I found interesting, and this is one of the things, is that a lot of people who've been reposting that information or some of the highlights of it, their accounts have been being taken down. And I mentioned after the last full moon in Capricorn, that to be careful what you post, right? Be careful about what you put on there. And the reason being is that your whole account, everything can get taken down, everything can be gone, right? And that's the thing, is that people don't realize that right now what's happening. So if you take a picture of something or a film of something, then a media outlet, a big one, will come and get a hold of you and ask if they can purchase that from you. And it could be, and then they give you X amount of dollars. Now, a lot of people will say, yeah, sure, why not? And the reason being is because people need money. People are, they can't afford their bills, they can't afford much. So, of course, they're going to say yes to 5 grand, right? And so then the media outlet buys it, they own it. You just signed the rights over to it. Now you go and you see the clip, or you've seen it before, and then you repost it. Now, what happens is that that thing that you just posted, and you're not thinking anything of it, it is owned by a huge media outlet, and then you get for putting it up, and that is to do with content creation, and that it is owned, and you are not allowed to um, post it. So if you're posting it on X or something like that, X has to take it down because it is content creation and it is owned. So then you are in violation of content creation, and your account gets closed down. Now, if X doesn't do that, then they get charged, right? Then they're in violation of allowing the content to go up there. So even though you might think that, well, everybody else is posting it, why can't I? You're going to find that it's going to come around that you can't post it and your account can get taken down. And you might think, oh, well, I didn't, I don't know why, what's it all about. And you probably won't even know who owns it unless you do a deep dive on the ownership of the content that you just posted. So we are now heading into an era, a time where it is a caution to be aware of, to really um, make sure that things that are coming out are even talking in kind of a script language where saying things could get you a huge violation, more so than what it was before, and more of that will be coming down now with an opening ceremonies. Like if you go back to 2012 of the opening ceremonies, it was in England, and they had all of these hospital beds dancing around the NHS, everybody cheering, yay, yay, yay. This is wonderful, cheer, yay, yay, yay. And there are little children in the bed, but there was a Grim Reaper in the middle of it, over top of this bed. And everybody's like, nobody paid any attention to it. So it's like, oh, look at the theatrics. It's just wonderful. Yeah. And this was in 2012. So when we watch different games opening, they show you things. Things are being shown to you. But the thing is, people don't pay attention, or they don't want to pay attention to it. So many things are being shown to you. And now we're in the phase of Mercury retrograde. So this is where, because Mercury is the god of communication. He's giving you information. He's showing you things. Are you paying attention to what is going on? And that's the huge piece, is paying attention to what is being shown to you or what you are hearing. And it could be you're hearing it, as a bypasser. You're not really paying much attention, but you just, oh, I heard this. Oh my God, what about this? So this is where it's very important to really pay attention to these things that you are hearing or you might be seeing. Not that you're going out looking for anything, or you might have glanced at it and you didn't really pay it no mind. But this is where you really have to watch, because things are going to get a little, this week isn't going to be too bad. We do have like this, the moon coming up, and it's going to conjunct Uranus. And I feel, because the moon is exalted in Taurus, this is going to give us a little bit more of an insight, before Mercury goes retrograde. This is going to give us a little bit more info of how we need to adjust our inner core, how we need to navigate the surrounding waters that are being recessed. And what I mean by being recessed, because we got Neptune retrograde and we got Saturn retrograde in Pisces. So things that are being pushed back, how are we navigating this within our personal life? Now, this is where you could have arguments, you could have disagreements with loved ones, with maybe with just people around you. Somebody might say something, might aggravate you, and a tit for tat kind of thing. So being aware of how you are feeling with everything that's as it is being unfolded, because there is so many different rumblings in the world right now. And before we head into August, this is sort of a week of, okay, I need to prep, because August is going to be the beginning of the escalation, the beginning and the heightened of how the frequencies are just going to begin to bombard us even more. And how we react, how we maintain, deal with, is going to be extremely important. How we keep ourselves emotionally, spiritually intact, and dealing with that, and not spiritually bypassing or moving on. because what's going to happen is that we're going to be storing either our emotions in some way within our brain, within our bodies, and we are still going to come out and react on it in a subliminal or subconscious way. So, with all that's coming out and with everything that is going to be bombarding us as we are heading into August and going into, the latter part of summer, we really have to keep aware of how we are navigating this. And this is going to be a very conscious, very aware type of frequencies because it is going to feel very overwhelming. And people are going, and this is Leo season. So we want to go out, we want to have fun, we want to go to the beach, we want to enjoy, we want to go hiking, we want to do these things, right? We want to have enjoyment, in our lives. But I feel like this is really a squeeze that is getting us to prepare even more for the word onslaught that is going to be coming forward in the coming weeks and months that are coming ahead of us. And it is one that is going to bring us, I feel, and this is where we have to watch where we are spiritually, right? And where we are mentally. And looking at where we need to start working on the parts of ourselves within our lives. So this is a really good mental health check. This is a really good time to really take note of the things that are going on in our own personal life and how we're feeling and not spiritually bypassing. So it's like looking at things like rejection, abandonment, shame, fear. Where is that in our life, right? Or have we just sort of put it aside and said whatever, and I'm just going to go around with a happy look on my face and everything is, you know, hunky dory, yet we are feeling that within our own lives. We're feeling that somewhere within our body because the fear will come up, and the fear is about not trusting ourselves. The shame, this is about what we feel bad about ourselves, what we're shameful of or what has happened in the past. Rejection, where have we been rejected? Where do we feel abandoned? Or not accepted in this world or in our personal life. Powerlessness, that's a huge one because I feel a lot of people are feeling the powerlessness within their own lives because of the situations that are conflicting us. So this is where it's like, okay, I feel, or hopelessness. So this is where it's like, okay, where can I hand that over? Where do I feel it within my body? I need to look into the heart and into the emotions and into those rejections and where the heart, because the heart does hurt. We do feel that heartache, allowing ourselves not to spiritually bypass it. And especially as the moon is going through Taurus, and as it goes through Taurus, right? So we go from the Taurus energy into the Gemini energy. So how we are coming in, and this is where the moon will come into a conjunction with Jupiter. And this is a Gemini ruled sign. So this is like looking at, and with Mars, this is looking at how am I dealing and listening to that of my body and of my soul, and really allowing myself to come into the body and not do a spiritual bypass. And that's going to be very important in the coming weeks. Because if we feel that we are hiding out, hiding away, and not being honest with ourselves, and we push it aside, pretending, managing, fixing it, denying it, then we're going to find that it's going to come when more is being bombarded upon us and we're feeling the constraints, we're going to find that even that's where we will shut down, that's where we will hide, that's where we will not be able to communicate, or we don't want to show up anymore. So this is a vital point of really being honest with ourselves. And especially this week, this is a beautiful week to really enter into that communication and that communication with your God. Now, I know not many, a lot of you follow Jesus or believe in Jesus or what have you, but you have your other gods or your other goddesses, or what you believe in. This is where you have to allow yourself to bring that forth into your life, and allow for you to bring that energy so you can have it in your life, and that you can have it abundantly and bring forth the joy and the sorrow and be open and vulnerable to it. I'm not I don't like to preach to people about some of the things that I do believe, because it's fearful for me. This is a fear factor. When I bring up the name of Jesus, and I bring up that energy of him, because of either what people perceive of me or what people think of me, or they think that I'm becoming too highly religious and I'm going to become another Doreen Virtue and then go off in some other world or what have you. But what I have found, and just listen, is that to me, this is the original hippie. Now, the original hippie is the person who really was true to who they were, true to the words that they said they were, and allow themselves to be the sacrifice and be the sacrificial lamb. So, this is where to have the life and have the abundantly. And this is to allow for you to step into the joy and the sorrow. Now, many times I find that, and especially with the frequencies that are coming in, and that is trying to push that love, that energy away, and believe in the darkness and believe in the distraught of what is going on in the world. And yes, it's there, but we have to send it more light. When I look at one of the flags that is all black, and looking at that flag, all they want is darkness, all they want is the blackness, and they want to have you in the darkness. And even with the craziness and the frequencies and the energies of the astrology coming in, what it's trying to push us towards, and this is where Uranus is, it's trying to push us more towards the light and the spiritual evolution of ourselves, and not allow ourselves to get drowning out into the darkness. Because in getting drowned out into the darkness will make us feel hopeless, will make us feel powerless. And this is where, again, we come into a place where, you know what? I need to allow myself to feel this. I need allow myself to face these things within myself, so that I am able to stand up stronger and know my vulnerability, know that I can feel fear and overwhelmness. And that's part of being human. That's part of being vulnerable, and allowing within that vulnerability is allowing for us to come into that forgiveness, into the wisdom, and into the honesty to give us the courage that we need to live with the goodness, to live with the greatness that we are, and stand in the power of the truth of who we are as humans. And that is being where we will be witnessing how they, the powers that be, would like to dismantle all of that in and around us. And that's what we are preparing for, because as we go into August and September, and further, is that we are going to be witnessing a dismantlement of humanity, a taking apart of who we are, and trying to degrade, to make us feel less than, a lot, getting us to bow down, and to feel and give our power over to others, and thinking that, well, they must know better. And here we have to come back in and say, okay, you know what? I feel, there's, so many things that I feel I'm constantly ducking my life, and I'm, dodging, like playing dodgeball with everything, right? And this is where it's like, okay, you know what? I need to take these timeouts. I need to allow myself to just breathe and come into this place and allow myself, to step forth in to the sacredness, and to know that through this sacredness, when I allow him to come near those tender parts of my heart, that I can come into the abundant healing that I need. And I can come into that abundant life, that real healing. And to understand that, and this is like really, like I've been having a lot of little bells go off, where so much in the world tells you that you shouldn't be abundant, that you shouldn't ask for more than what you have, and because that'll make you greedy, that'll make you whatever, but this is, where I'm finding that no, the divine, you could say Jesus, you could say whoever it is, wants you to have the abundance of life, wants you to have the power of the divineness, wants you to stand in your divinity, and allowing for you to be diligent on that. And anytime you feel like you are unable to do what it is that you need to do, know that you have your angels, know that you have your guides, and your spiritual guides are there to help to guide you, hold you up, carry you through whatever trials and tribulations you're going through. And sometimes it is overwhelming, and that's why it's so important to reach out to get the help and the guidance that you need, especially if you are needing any help mentally and spiritually. And that's part of my, you know, the reason why I do, a lot of my prayers and everything is so helping me to be stronger when I feel weak and broken, and where I feel helpless and powerless and confused. I have to do this because it helps me to help others. It helps me to give, for others, to give them the strength, to help them to know that they are all whole and holy in all that they do. So we are coming into some evolutionary changes, and where we will be put to a test in many different ways in our life, and have to continue to show up even when we don't want to show up. And these challenges could be a person that you work with, it could be a person, it could be your neighbor, it could be your brother, your sister, your significant other, who will come in and challenge you in some way. And this could be even your children. And this is where it's like, okay, I need to find that, right? I need to find that, right? And showing up, here I am, allowing the vulnerability, because when you're allowing the vulnerability, then you are standing in your truth, warts and all, and you are allowing that, where you might have the heart, the emotion, you might feel the rejections, you might feel the heart, shutting down. And this is where it's like, okay, no, I got to come back in. I got to come back into that divineness. I got to come back in to that spiritual place and step forth into the sacred heart. And stepping into that sacred heart is allowing for healing, because there's a well that is there, that is nourishing, that is ever more, and it is constant, and it never dries up. I dry up. My well dries up, but the divine's well does not dry up. The sacred heart never dries up. And that's what we have to draw from. And it's so important for us to do that each and every day. Whew. So a couple other things to be aware of, and this is going to have to do with your nervous system, is that this week we're going to have a lot of geomagnetic storms, and they have been doing there has been a warning that has come out for not only North America but for the world. There has been some radio outages and little glitches and like things like that that have been happening because to my understanding, some of these GT4 focus that are coming in are like they haven't seen so many coming in. So the aurora borealis is, being seen in some of the southern states in southern Canada as well, and in other parts of the world. So understanding that your nervous system is really coming I'm gonna say I'm gonna say like feel like it's coming under attack. So watching headaches, watching nervousness, watching your immune system. And this is where citrus can be really good. So bringing in like citrus, like even tangerine oils, essential oils, putting lemon into your water, um, is going to be a really important one. This is where it's like really coming in and getting the nutrients, even adding cucumber because that adds in the cooliness. With it, watching the carbohydrates that you are eating. So, really reducing the carbohydrates and coming into more of the nutrients. And maybe I got like watercress and different types of salads and stuff are really going to be good, especially in the evening. So really watching those carbohydrates is a huge one that's coming forth, especially with all of the um, magnetic storms that are going to be coming in, and that's for this whole week with the storms that are coming forth. So just being aware of the solar activity because hey, we're in Leo season. That's the sun. The sun does play a huge role on us and how we feel. Get out in the sunshine, you know, allow yourself, do some sun gazing. Sun gazing is absolutely fabulous. So if you are able to get out in the morning and do some sun gazing and just allow for that energy of the sun to feel it upon your face, allow for your body just to engage in it, to embrace it, is a beautiful thing. So and if you're wanting to book a reading, definitely get a hold of me. And we can set up some coaching programs for you if you want to set up some coaching sessions and start to do that as well. And if you'd love to buy me a coffee, hey, love that. Mama always loves her coffee. Coffee's a good thing. What do we have? Ooh, well, we have the Five of Pentacles, but it's reversed. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. It just may not feel like it. It might feel a little bit overwhelming. Now, with the Five of Pentacles, when it's reversed, makes you feel a little bit overwhelmed and that things aren't going my way. But you have to understand that life has its cycles, and we're all in this cycle of change within the world around us. And it's very much like the wheel of fortune. So if you're feeling down, things are coming up. If you're, feeling like you're on top of the world right now, things can change and it can bring you down, right? But not to be afraid of it. Is you can't be on top of the world all the time. Although you would like to be on top of the world all the time and feel like everything's a bed of roses and everything is great and you got the $1 million in the account. But life has cycles. And so this is a transition phase that we are going through and understanding what that transition phase is, because you don't want to get lost in having, this is where people are going to be feeling like you could have a wonderful state of success, but it may be a good time to take a closer look at your priorities. what is important to you at this time. The Four of Pentacles is letting you know, yeah, this is great, but you might be like, there might be a mask of lack of security in your life. Where are you holding on? Where's the illusions of physical wealth? This is getting to the reality of what is going on in your life and not doing the spiritual bypassing and saying, oh, yeah, everything's fine. Everything's good. I can handle this all. Well, not everybody can. You can't handle everything. You think you can. You think you can do it all. But this is like, I'm going to call bullshit, because we all need help. We all need help. And with that brings in the Ten of Swords. I kind of like the Ten of Swords, because the Ten of Swords is letting you know, it's like you got to surrender, you got to let go. And surrendering doesn't mean that, oh, I just go and grab a bottle of Jack Daniels. That's not surrendering. That's escapism. This is where you can see where the difficulties of life challenges that are traumatic, disastrous, and unexpected. It can be, an indication of lying, deceit on the part of someone else, or with the hurtful of feeling betrayed. So the Ten of Swords comes in, and it's about releasement. It is about really accepting the things that I need to accept in this world. And that's a big one to chomp off. This is seeing past the shadows to the light, and allows for you to get through the tunnel. When we accept this is where it's asking, how can I seek out support at this time? I know I have. If I didn't seek out support, if I didn't seek out and say to someone, hey, I need, does this company do XYZ, and can I get help from it? And they're like, yeah, we can do that for you. And I'm just like, oh, it gave us some release. This is where it's like looking at things in your life and saying, oh, well, I need a little bit help here, or I need to talk to someone over here. Yeah, we got somebody there for you. Allow for that. Okay. Be open to that, because the king comes in, and the king has knowledge. He's very forthright. He's very understanding, but he knows what he knows, and he trusts what he trusts. And this is where, when the King of Swords comes in, he's the king of I don't give a fuck. This is ambition. This is logic. Do not concern yourself with the opinions of others. You already know you have what it takes. Don't start listening to other people saying, oh, look it over here and look it over there. No, this is why I say it's very important to check in with yourself, to really come into where you're, feeling, where is that heartache, right? Where is that fear in my body, right? This is the need to look objectively with no limiting emotions, to look and say, be the third, the objector within your life, and say, okay, this is why I'm doing this, and I really have to get help with it. This is where I'm having this issue, and I just need to release it, and I'm going to have a burning party for it. I wrote, if you didn't read my blog, I did some really cool steps on how to release, because not everybody releases the same way. Not everybody can journal. If you have like 20 journals, maybe you need to burn some, and release it, because you've been writing so much about it. Now it's time to release it. So there you go. This is about allowing for you. The King of Swords is also very inventive, and he's responsible for many breakthroughs. And this is where he comes in with the scientific mind as well, because the breakthroughs are there. There you go. Have a fabulous Sunday. Enjoy the day. May the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all that you say, and all that you be, and all you do. And definitely reach out if you need to book in an appointment. And I am not having astrology club for August. We'll start again in September, and we'll be doing the astrology club starting in September. Taking a little break from things, and I'm only doing readings a few days a week. So when people book in there, I'm sort of scheduling them to being a few days a month. So not that anyways. So have a great one, and we will talk to you guys very soon. Have a great one. Bye bye.